Are you ready for the third iteration of the NFL stocks buy or sell? This time around, it is NFL draft rumors. So I have 5 rumors, Drew, on the board. You go ahead and tell me whether you are going to buy this rumor or you are going to sell this rumor. First one is probably the hot one right now. We already mentioned it before the podcast. Are you buying or selling JJ McCarthy going second overall?
That's a sell. Second?
Second
What the
overall.
hell? No.
Yep.
Do you see what Jaden Daniels did at his pro day? No. JJ McCarthy's not going second overall.
Yeah, I think his odds jumped up to plus 400 after what he was plus 4th,
Hey,
right?
where's that idiot in the chat that wanted to know why we were taking JJ McCarthy in the first round? Where's he at?
Yeah.
Odds
Right
to
now
go second.
Yeah, now jumping up all the way to the second overall pick. Yeah, no, this isn't happening, right? I mean, we do know that the draft is most likely going to start quarterback. That's the way it is. It might even start quarterback, depending on how you see the draft and if the Patriots are maybe sticking and picking, which is a good way to segue into it. Drew, buying or selling, the Patriots are sticking and picking at that third overall.
I don't know now at this point. I'm kind of curious as to this. I think it's going quarterback. I think the first 4 picks are quarterbacks. If you're the Patriots, if you're not taking quarterback, there's absolutely zero reason to stay there and pick. Zero reason. Because I like Marvin Harrison Jr., but he's not worth the 3 when you can if you can pick up 2 picks from the Vikings, or if you can pick up 3 picks from the Broncos to move up here, then you just take it. Like, Marvin Harrison's not changing anything for you next year if you can just drop down into the 20s and take one of the guys there. No offense to Marvin Harrison. He's wide receiver 1. I think he's going to be awesome. But to me, there's nobody there at 3 if you're not taking quarterback. Same with number 4.
Yeah.
If I'm the Cardinals and somebody's coming to you with a king's ransom to try to move up to 4, and what's crazy is the Broncos and the Vikings both love the same guy, reportedly. They're both going to try to jump each other, right? They're going to try to get to 6, try to get to 5, try to get to 4. But if I'm the Vikings and I trade into the 4 spot, you know what you got to do to get to the 3 spot if you're the Broncos. So they might trade into the 3. So what's crazy is they might battle it out for 3, and then Drake May falls to the 4th quarterback, which we're going to look back on this and be like, how did my man Drake May fall this far? Because the dude is talented. But we'll put that aside for a second. It's going to be very exciting. I think the Cardinals, they're going to offer you a king's ransom. You already got Kyler. And is Marvin Harrison really going to make that much of a difference in comparison if you can add a wide receiver and you can add a tackle, you can add a wide receiver and a corner? Like, are you telling me you wouldn't want a first round graded tackle and the 3rd or 4th or 5th best wide receiver in the class? Or would you just take wide receiver 1 and that's it? It comes down to, at the beginning of the year, every NFL team has the same amount of money. We all have the same amount of money. We all have the same amount of draft picks. We all have the same amount of everything. It just depends on who invests their assets in the most wisest way. And for you to spend all of your money on Marvin Harrison Jr. when you can spend your money on a tackle, a Brian Murphy, and a 3rd round pick where you can get a starting corner probably, that just quarterback. That's the way I see it going.
If the Patriots do trade back, I like go check out Mock Draft 3.0. I like obviously I'm in love with the concept of maybe them trading backwards, picking whoever they're going to pick, picking up extra assets. So maybe a wide receiver, tackle, whatever, BPA for the Patriots, because God knows they need everything under the sun. But also getting back into the first to pick a Michael Penix, a Bo Nix, whoever they favor the most out of the handful of quarterbacks that are going to be available at the end of the first round. My pick would be the Michael Penix at the end of the first for the Patriots specifically. So if you are sticking and picking, probably going to be a quarterback, probably going to be a Jaden Daniels unless he goes second. Then you're going with Drake May, and you should run that card in as fast as you can. This all just comes down to if the Patriots are in love with one of the quarterbacks. It's now been on the rumor mill for like 3 weeks in a row with a couple of the pages that I follow, specifically Bold Take Scouting on Instagram. If you go check them out, it's been on the rumor mill for like 3 weeks in a row, man. It's just, quote, The Patriots will only pick a quarterback if they are in love with one. And nobody knows if they are in love with them. There's not even rumors coming out if they are or not. So it's really hard to tell with the Patriots. I would sell this one personally. But moving on to the wide receivers, because we already talked about Marvin Harrison Jr., let's follow a different scenario. Are you buying or selling the fact that Malik Nabers being the number one receiver off the board?
Selling.
Selling hard.
Yeah.
Not even a thought. Yeah. For you and me, especially you and I, sorry. Especially we have Malik Nabers as our wide receiver 3. I like Malik. I do. I think those 1, 2, 3 guys, you can kind of shuffle them up, except one. Those 2 and 3 guys, you can shuffle them back and forth a little bit. I don't see anybody really actually believing, oh yeah, like Malik is the guy. Like that's going to be your number one. I think what's going to come down to is, what it's going to come down to for the picks 2 and 3 for wide receiver 2 and 3, I should say, it's going to come down to scheme fit. What fits a little bit better to me for like the Giants coming on the clock? I think they would be better fit with like a Rome, a Dunze. They got a lot of speed already on that team with Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt, switching it up with a timing based, a guy who works really well in a timing based offense like Rome would be better for the Giants than a Malik Nabers. A Malik Nabers would be really good for the Titans if they want to go ahead and take a wide receiver. But I don't buy this one either.
This is where we're going to find out on if these NFL teams did their entire complete homework. The 49ers never scouted or spent any time looking at Patrick Mahomes. They never did because they were convinced they were getting Kirk Cousins at the end of the season, right? They didn't even do their job. So if I'm the Vikings and you're the Broncos and you and me have spent hours upon hours upon hours with JJ McCarthy, and then you beat me to it, and now Drake May is sitting there. Did I do my homework on Drake May? Did I do enough homework to trade up? Let's assume you hop up to the Patriots pick and you take JJ. Did I do enough? This is the only scenario where I can see Nabers going 1, because I can see Joe Alt going 5 to the Chargers. We went quarterback, and the Chargers are like, nope, we need the tackle. We need Joe Alt. Joe Alt was number 1. And now the Giants are on the clock. And the Giants are like, shit. Marvin Harrison is there, but we love Malik Nabers. We've done all our research on Nabers. We've done everything we need to do on Nabers. You know what? We're just going to go with Nabers. And then he's the first wide receiver off the board because they did all their homework on him. If the team has done their job and they've scouted everybody the way they should, because when you're sitting in the top 6, top 7, top 15 of the draft, shit goes crazy, especially when the Raiders are involved with a mock draft of them taking Bo Nix I saw today. You have to do your research on all the players, because you can't be sitting there on a scramble drill, Jacob. If you're sitting there with your boy Sean Payton, you can't say, well, shit, Drake May's still available. Do we just trade up to 4 and take him? Drake May's available. Well, I don't know, Sean. We didn't do our research. We've been doing our research on JJ. JJ was the guy, but the Minnesota Vikings beat us. Do you just take Drake May? Hopefully these teams have done their research, because we hear stories about this every year where they just didn't scout the guy. Because if we could go back to 2017, 49ers take Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Scout the guys.
Already mentioned, and we're going to run right into it. Are you buying or are you selling Bo Nix or Michael Penix going in the first round?
Either of them in the first round?
Either one of them in the first round.
I'm selling that, because I think that Michael Penix makes a lot of sense to a couple of teams that have a high second round pick. And I just don't know if you need to. I'm a believer in Michael Penix, so if you think the guy can be a franchise QB, I don't think it matters. Bo Nix at 13 is wild to me. But I
don't think that you go trade up.
Chances are one of those guys go in the first round. Chances are.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it, because I don't think that you go and you trade up into the first round to jump somebody else, right? One of those high second round picks. I mean, you could go ahead and pick any of the lower level teams that potentially need a quarterback that is going to trade up, hence maybe the Patriots, which again, mock draft 3.0 had that happening. I didn't have the Patriots trading up and taking Michael Penix because they're jumping other teams to go grab him. I have them taking Michael Penix in the first round for that 5th round option specifically, or the fifth year option specifically. That's the only reason that we're going into it and why we're doing it, is to have that fifth year. I don't care about the rest of it. Just like you said, if you're doing your homework on a guy and you really like him, you're going to trade up and you're going to go get that guy. And again, if you believe in him that much, you're going to want that fifth year, guaranteed. That's why you go in the first round, back into the first round. I saw Bo Nix. I've been seeing 3 weeks in a row, these people doing these mock drafts. I've seen 3 weeks in a row now. The Broncos not trading up, them sticking at 12 and picking Bo Nix. 3 weeks in a row, 3 Mondays in a row has been Bo Nix, 12th overall, to the Denver Broncos. So I don't buy that one, but I do buy Bo Nix or Michael Penix going in the first round.
Yeah, if you're the Seattle Seahawks and you think that he's the answer and you can drop from 16 down to 28, you know what I mean? Something like that, and you can take him, then the fifth year option does make a ton of sense. I'm trying to see where
Seattle
would
be pretty good too, because you look at a lot of the needs that they have, guard and center, right? That interior offensive line, you'd be like, oh well, JPJ, maybe Troy Fontanu, because he could potentially play guard. Or their owner doesn't invest money into the interior offensive line, and they don't spend high draft picks on it either.
Right.
Why would they change it now all of a sudden? It's not like we're talking about JPJ as this generational center or guard, or we're not talking about it like that. So a trade down for Seattle really does make sense. Who did they get at quarterback? Didn't they get someone at quarterback in free agency? Didn't they go get somebody?
The Seahawks?
Yeah, didn't Seattle?
Maybe. I mean, Geno's still the starter, so I don't think it matters.
Yeah, he's a starter. He have a restructure on top of that to maybe free up money in the later part of his contract. So they're pretty much saying like Geno might not be the starter, not now, but in the very near future, we don't see Geno as the starter anymore. And you've already brought it up in the past how you don't think someone could be a starter, like that starting caliber guy like Geno is, if they can't beat their division rivals, like beating the Niners. You just can't do it. So no, it looks like they did. I know they lost.
These mock drafts are wild, man.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever see. There's a guy, his name's Bro Schmo on YouTube. He does mock the mocks, and he goes through a bunch of like every major mock draft that comes out. He goes through like every pick, and some are pretty crazy. I have one more buy or sell, Drew. So last one. Buying or selling that there will be no running backs taken in the first 2 rounds of the draft.
Oh, that's a sell. There's going to be the running backs will go.
Do you think that it's going to be like a wait and see game where we're kind of waiting to see like exactly teams are waiting to see who takes that first running back? And as soon as that first running back flies off the board, there's going to be a run at the running back position because everyone's going to go, shit, the guy that we maybe were looking for and maybe the next round isn't going to be there now because all of a sudden everyone's taking these running backs and the run's going to start now. Do you think it's going to be something like that? Or it's going to be like a tail end, oh, I just picked this guy off, pick 60, just picked up Trey Benson, Jonathan Brooks, Blake Corum, just picked them up real quick. Do you think it's going to be something like that?
I just don't. To me, I think those two guys are really, really talented. And I don't think that they're going to last till pick 87. So I think the Cowboys have to take one of them. Nothing else makes sense to me right now with the Cowboys not taking a running back. What's funny is my favorite out of all 4 of them is the kid from Hyatt. He's my favorite out of all 4, which that's not true. I love Blake Corum. But these are good players, man. Like I know they're not top 5 picks or whatever, but I just think that that's like the way that Jalen Wright, not Hyatt, just the way the NFL is going. I mean, don't you think that you're going to get Trey Benson with your 3rd round pick?
Maybe. I don't know.
NFL teams are stupid, man. There's no way. There's no way he lasts till your 3rd round. Pick 88 or 89, wherever you're at.
Maybe.
If you can pick him with your 3rd round pick, then you have a massive problem because he's not a day 1 starter if he goes in the 3rd round.
Yeah, but running backs, as are a lot of these, certain positions, are just, it's like a team fit, right? How, are they going to go with a power run system? Are they better in the zone run system? Like, what are they better in? Is kind of the question. So I think it's just scheme fit. So if Trey doesn't fit a specific team, with a specific scheme, then I think he might fall a little bit. But one of these guys will, right? Whether it's a Jalen Wright, Blake Corum, Jonathan Brooks is a potential faller because of the ACL stuff, right? Tearing his shit up at the end of the season, or in the middle of the season. So it just someone's is gonna potentially fall down the board a little bit at the very least. A third round pick could be very feasible. Do I think I'm gonna get Trey Benson? Unfortunately, probably not at that point. But I also have a hard time looking at the second round of the draft. And, I've sent you a couple of the Cowboy stuff that I've done, and I'll simulate some of the PFF stuff of care for positional value all the way down, all the way up, of moving stuff around, randomness. And just every time I come down to the second round and the pick comes up, I'm like, God, dude, there's so much value at this second round pick that I can't go anywhere else. Like I can't go running back. I just don't see, we need it. But some of the other players that are there are just too good to pass up. But also Jerry's one of the guys who just takes a guy because we need him, not because of a guy that's there. Taking Tyler Smith, I really wanted Jermaine Johnson. We needed edge rusher at that point, so obviously Tyler Smith has worked out pretty well. But, I wanted Jermaine Johnson because he was like my second edge rusher in that class. And I wanted him. And he was falling. Yeah, so that's where we sit with the running backs.